Welcome back to Mediums in Action with me, Martin Lake Wilson, and my good friend and expert medium, Ian Doherty.
Hello, everybody.
How are you keeping, Ian? Are you okay?
I am fine. Yes, I've changed my exercise regime to be first thing in the morning, and it's working better. I don't get put off with it's too hot or I can't be bothered now. So I'm feeling very, very positive. And what about yourself, Martin?
I think from a spiritual perspective, I feel far more connected than ever before. And
Yeah,
I think
that's
often
interesting.
I think it's like waves, isn't it? Sometimes I think sometimes we can. And it's probably internal algorithms or whatever, or just general things that get you in life. But certainly since midsummer, I always feel kind of quite heightened. So
yeah. Well, no, I mean it's just interesting that we're, Spirit is telling us the same things, because we can be talking on the phone, as we often do for 17 hours and 10 minutes. But we can be there and we will say one thing, and then our guide speak to us and your guide speaks to you. It's the same information. You're thinking, I have as well. Oh, and I have. So weird. I just find that fascinating. I would say definitely, going on the back of you feeling more connected to spirit side, I think generally we are.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. It's been a strange old year. I mean, obviously, it's been a year of grief for me, and I certainly feel. I think again, midsummer, it heightens you. It heightens me, and you start feeling a bit more bouncy in yourself.
Yeah.
I think what it is I know winter's coming and it's my favourite time, but Halloween's around the corner. But
of course.
But no, it's interesting because I think 2 years ago, Spirit said to both of us, I think, healthy body, healthy mind.
Yeah.
And I think both of us kind of started looking at that, and we both got yoga and fitness. I've got yoga and various fitness regimes, and from mental perspective to bodily, and it is good, and I'd say that to anybody, is whether you run or whether you do a little bit of chair yoga or whatever you can do, any form of exercise, even
anything.
Yeah, walking, even going in the garden, deadheading plants, anything like that, where you can just take yourself out of a gear and just forget about it and not think about your daily routine or a worry or anything like that. It's a form of meditation, and it's a great way not only for your mental health, but it's also a great way to sort of get used to not thinking about things for when you're trying to communicate with spirit.
Yeah, definitely. I think in the long run, we've sort of added on to something we said earlier. I feel this is in essence why we feel more connected with spirit now than perhaps we have done for a long time. I've totally revamped my diet, and I've my lifestyle rather than my diet, and it's really good.
And so today we're going to talk about dreams. And obviously I've known you for a long time. I've always seen you as obviously a medium, psychic artist, and also, and I find this unusual actually, but you've also been an interpreter of dreams, and you kind of look at it not just from a psychological perspective, but also from a spiritual as well.
Yeah. I mean, spirit helped me very, very much with dreams. It's one of those things where obviously, the person I'm sort of having a look at their dream for, the more detail they can give. For instance, was it daytime in your dream? Was it nighttime in your dream? Were you in a building? Were you outside? Were you being chased? Were you chasing? Did you feel happy? Did you feel sad? What time of the night or what time of the early morning it was? As much details as possible. And I just look at the dream and it just, it's this. Obviously, spirit's influence there, but it just as if I pick a thread and I unpick it and it all falls to pieces. It seems, I wouldn't say easy, but it just seems natural to me. That's the better term. I just feel natural with talking about what the dream is, and I find it fascinating. I did start for a little time doing a little dream book. Where I asked people. I didn't want people's too personal dreams. I mean, I wouldn't pass on details anyway, but I just wanted to make them know that everything that they said is in confidence. I would write the dream down, cut and paste what they sent me, and then I would give them the reading from it, and then I'd add that underneath so I can build my repertoire up. Something I'm thinking about bringing back if people don't abuse it, in sort of wanting a dream interpretation every second day.
with your dream interpretation, so somebody would come to you and say, I dreamt, I don't know, I was being chased by fields and there was something dark in the distance. Obviously, you would then try to give it a sort of rational explanation. So you would say, well, running away is possibly anxiety, or and something dark in the distance could be a worry that is hanging around. But then,
I mean, well, sorry, Martin, the way I would challenge, the darkness in the distance is change, and the fact is the person is likely to be resistant to that change and not wanting to go there.
Right, that's interesting. And so you put that there, and then with spirit, would you then be able to do you kind of give when you say a bit of reading? So do you talk about the future, or do you just generally talk about the person's position?
Yeah, generally it's all about the dream, and that gives the person, because obviously I am not privy, other than a psychic way, of course, of knowing a little bit of what's happening in their life. I don't go on their Facebook page to try and find information or anything, but what is generally looked at is what is happening around that person at that time that leads to this dream, and what could be coming from that dream. So it's not into the distant future, but it sort of gives a sense of what that person can take charge of, or make changes should that what the dream is saying.
Kind of like a sense of clarity, I suppose.
Yes.
So have this dream, they don't understand it. They're probably quite scared by it, because a lot of people who the problem is with the brain is it's addicted to fear, and it's addicted to adrenaline as well. So if you have a bad dream, the likelihood is that you'll have it within a day or 2 days again. The reason is, and it's not because you're being repeatedly told a warning. It's because your brain actually is saying, oh, I quite enjoyed that adrenaline boost in the middle of the night. I enjoyed it. So it'll repeat it again, and
it will.
What's some of the weirder examples you've had with dream interpretation?
One quite recent one was a person. She asked me to look at this dream, and as you said, when you mentioned that, I was quite piqued by it. It was a recurring dream, and this person, she was getting quite scared with it, and she kept on in her dream every day. She would see this little girl who to her looked demonic, and she was scared of that little girl. And the little girl kept on turning up in this dream, and she kept on trying to get away. But the dream was always linked to her past, looking around a town where shops used to be and what they are now. So it was linked to the past, to where the future is, to where it is now, but it was always in the town, always in buildings, which reference a work situation. If you are in the daytime, you're in a built-up area, particularly if it's a big shopping mall, if it's a big sort of work factory, then the chances are the dream is centered around the work. With seeing the image of the little girl as a demonic figure is how she felt about her. She didn't feel she was worthy, didn't feel, it's about self-value, self-worth, perhaps in the workplace, wanted to branch out. Am I going to be successful? I don't think I am. People don't like me. Am I fine? There was a lot of sort of holding herself back, maybe because she's been told you're ugly, you're big, you're this, you're that. That is what the dream was. Do you know what I mean?
It's fascinating, because so the demonic girl was her, and that it's almost like she was seeing herself in the past, that she was just a scared little girl.
Yes.
And she wasn't adequate within her workplace.
It is not letting the past go. It is thinking, well, that was the past. I'm a better person now. I'm more capable, and I can do it. So that is the way the dream was tackled in that sense.
It's great. I know from a psychological perspective, and Sigmund Freud and everything, kind of started looking at your dreams and over analyzing them, and every dream's got this. If you see, I don't know, a key in your dream, then it means this. Or I think Sigmund Freud sexualized a lot of it.
All he did, though, didn't he? Coming over to dreams, people think, okay, I will look out for numbers, I'll see this and this, which it's hard to keep that memory of, oh, I've just seen a symbol. You try to focus in your mind what that symbol is, or you try to look for numbers. You are more likely to see numbers in the form of 3 white houses, 3 white cars, 3 white trees. It isn't necessarily the colour, but it's the fact that it's threes, so that would give you the number
so
3.
instead of seeing like a big number in your dream, you've got to look more subliminal. So like 5 houses, or it could possibly mean that the number 5 is
but it's
coming.
But there'll be repetitive. You'll see 5 of this, 5 of that, 5 of this.
Right, okay.
Do you know what I mean? So it's there, and it could sort of put over. Depending on the context of your dream, it could mean 5 days, 5 weeks.
There's a bit like divination, isn't it? It's not going to be 5 minutes in 5 minutes time, or 5 hours.
No,
5 hours. It's going to be 5 weeks or 5 months.
Yeah, it is. But there is that type of thing, and colours have a relevance to me, but not necessarily within the dream state. So I tend to stay away from analysing colours too much, because it doesn't necessarily adequately portray the feelings, etc., of your dream. It's almost as if I'm seeing the dream happen with that person, but being stood back, and able to think, well, it's this and it's this and it's this, not in a cold way, but in a non-attached way.
Obviously, we're spiritualists. If you start to see somebody in your dreams who died recently, and you might be able to put me straight on this, but my personal view is, if you see somebody recently who's passed away in your dreams, that's the likelihood to be your emotional state manifesting. Do you think? Would you say?
No. There's one way to check it out. Firstly, if it is spirit communication during your sleeping time, because during your waking hours your mind's too busy. If there's somebody from your family wants to say hello, you will always find yourself in some place that is particular, happy, emotional. For me, it's always my mum's house. It's my mum's front room. Somebody else, it might be their bedroom of the house they used to live in. If there's a person in that space, then that is what I would term as somebody from your family wanted to say hello. If it is where you see a person when you're walking around, say you find yourself walking down the country lane, or you're walking down near your street and you see your loved one, then I would say it's likely to be your own personal state wanting to hear from that person.
Right, and what about if you have a dream about somebody who passed away a long time ago, and you suddenly see them again and they're communicating with you a message, or would you say that was spirit again?
Well, yes. I mean, because really it doesn't necessarily matter for us so much how long that person's been passed, but there wouldn't be a great deal of evidence perhaps if it was, let's say, your great-great-grandfather who was, say, perhaps killed in the First World War well and truly before you were born. Then the chances are you wouldn't recognise him in that dream, unless, of course, family has said, this is great-granddad, this is great-granddad. There wouldn't be any sort of relevance until you talk to family and got that information there. It is normally somebody who is closer. Perhaps your grandmother level, I would say, is probably your grandparents level would be really the sort of the furthest I think spirit would go for benefit to you, because when a person sees a family member or a very good friend, there's no fear in the dream. There's just love. There's, oh wow, hello. You want to go up and hug them, kiss them, and it's great. So there's all those feelings of safety, security are all within that dream when there's a family member or friend talking to you from spirit. It's when we see somebody we're thinking, but that person's dead, and we tend to run, then that is us perhaps being anxious and not wanting to face the fact that that person's passed away.
Another thing about dreams, and this cropped up quite a few times actually, certainly when we were doing ghost investigations, is we would have people who actually dreamt of the venue without actually knowing the venue, and turning up and actually, one really good example is we had one lady who knew of her. She'd been on 2 or 3 investigations. I have no reason to believe that she was lying, but she had a weird dream. She was going to Woodchester Mansion. She had a weird dream. She knew of it. She knew it was gothic or whatever.
Yeah.
But she had a dream of this, where the chapel was. There was this little room, and it had a font in there, and all the fonts.
Oh, I know where you are. Yeah.
Yeah. She had a dream of that, and it was really quite upsetting for her. She felt very, very. She was on. She really was. It was quite scary for her. I can't really go into detail, to be honest,
of course.
It was really quite scary, and she was really quite fearsome of what was going to happen at the event. But why would she be dreaming about? I mean, that room, nobody, you couldn't. I actually checked, and I went on the internet, and there's no photographs of that particular room. She didn't know about this little recess that was near the window. She couldn't have known about it. Mm-hmm. And I certainly 100% believe that she had that dream, because literally the next morning she was on the phone to me saying, this dream. She said, I think I'm thinking of cancelling because I'm really quite scared. I said, look, you'll be fine, come along. And she had a really good time, and everything that she dreamt of didn't really appear, not only physically, but also from a medium or anything like that. But why did she dream that? Why do you think that?
The chances are, she may have been wanting to test herself. She may have been wanting to know more. I want to experience something. I want to do so and so. So the chances are it is, it is from one of her guides who's given information of it. I don't feel it would be anybody from, any spirit from Woodchester Mansion talking to her. It doesn't work that way. Well, from my point of view, it doesn't. I just get the sense it would have been her guide that would have given us some information. It happens to me, happens to you. Maybe not in a dream sense, but we will, on the way there, by the way, this is what it used to be. This is what this is what so and so. So we can, because of our sensitivities, we can do it whilst we're perhaps driving, or whilst our mind isn't that active. So whether your person, it normally comes through in your dream state. So the person would, I would say, have a sensitivity, a psychic, a mediumistic ability, and her guide had given her some information, perhaps as a doubting Thomas, just to make it more real that there is something there.
Yeah, well, it certainly gave her evidence that she was she was skeptical but kind of believer. So which is a healthy way to be. And
it is. Yeah.
I think she needed that extra sort of boost.
I think so.
And it really did work for her, because she walked into that room and she said, I've been here. She said maybe it was my past life, I believed that it was some form of communication from her personal guide, or
I don't think it's a past life though.
No, I didn't feel that. I felt that it was that. But no, it's interesting that people have those. I think that's one of the most regular things that I ever encountered with dreams, is where people say, "Oh my God, I dreamt this last week. I was told that," which suggests to me that there's an undercurrent here, that people are far more mediumistic than they actually give credence to.
Well, if you think about it, having the emails and text messages and personal messages via Facebook, I'm sure somebody's followed me home because I'm getting this, and this, and then you say to them, well, no, actually you're becoming more sensitive, and you're seeing, feeling what is actually in your property, what is around you, and they go, and they often take it as a positive. Oh, I must be getting more sensitive then, so I do feel it's in that ilk.
I remember always being interviewed, how many people have gone home with ghosts?
I
said none.
Well, that's it, they haven't though, have they?
But nobody ever went home with a ghost or a spirit, unless they took their own spirit guide there. But but I did say the thing is, and I always remember again, one person went to, I think, Tutbury Castle, which is one of the least haunted castles in Britain. But went to Tutbury, and then when she went home, she was stood in front of the mirror brushing her teeth, and she literally saw, I think it was a towel and something else kind of being moved in her bathroom. And I said, well, it's either two explanations. Number one, you've psychically switched on, and it could be some form of telekinesis, that you've actually moved it by your own mind and didn't realize. Or secondly, you're far more sensitive, and actually you were, while you was brushing your teeth, you was actually in communication with spirit. And she said, well, actually I was thinking about Tutbury, and I was thinking, actually there was a woman there. I remember seeing a woman. And she said, but I didn't see her at the time. I said, well, maybe that's your mediumship. You're thinking back and thinking, hang on, there was a woman there, and that's actually because you was mediumistically, you could see that woman, and now you're remembering that. And while you remembered that, there was a little bit of activity in your flat. Your flat's not haunted, and that woman hasn't come back to the flat.
No.
But you're now more switched on. You're aware of that kind of energy.
I just find it fascinating, the fact that, and it sort of lends credence that everybody can be mediumistic to a certain sort of level, for want of a better word. But I do fully believe it's through the gene pool. Genes come on the same way as it is sort of coded for the colour eyes, the colour hair, the colour skin. Then mediumship falls into that, I do believe.
I didn't know until recently that my great-grandmother was sort of mediumistic and used to hold seances in a front.
Oh, wow.
And that was in Keswick, which is kind of really weird, because I had no knowledge of that at all, because a lot of that side of the family is very disconnected from this side of the family. But I found out that she used to hold seances in the late 1800s, which again is fascinating. So maybe it is. I mean, let's face it, it could just be one chromosome content that we.
Well, the thing is, it could be a facet of one chromosome.
I mean, this is the point of our course, is that we believe that everybody has mediumship talent, that we can all connect to spirit. It's just that some people are natural to it. Some people are natural footballers. Some people have to work at it. Some people have to work at it. And either way, I think whether you have to work at it or whether it comes natural, you can both get to the same point and be as good as each other. You just need to put that time in and that effort, as you have to do with anything, whether it's art, football, music, you name it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been fascinating talking to you about dreams. Really,
well, thank you.
Is.
Yeah, likewise.
It's we'll have to do another question and answers where maybe we ask people to send in some examples of their dreams, and we will discuss them on here. Obviously, we won't name you and say Sandra from Leeds says she's being chased by a half-naked man or something. But if you do want to send in some of your dreams that you've had and would like us to discuss them, what we could do is next month maybe do a short little podcast, and we'll have a chat through and give you some examples of how it works, and how Ian works, and how he can explain what's happening in your dreams.
Yeah, that would be nice. And of course, if you have any, with what Martin was saying about question and answers, if you have any questions you like answered, please send them in.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do it through Facebook, or you can do it through our website, which is ascendtier2.co.uk. It is linked on the podcast distributor, so it's on there, so you can contact us and send in your dreams. I'd like to say some special thank yous to the people who've contacted us over this last 2 weeks. We've had some really lovely feedback from
it's beautiful
from some amazing people, and the amazing thing is for us as well is they're not even in our country, they're in America or India. It's just been lovely, absolutely lovely to see that all these people from different countries are really engaging with our podcast and also with our course, and we're it really does help us, as I've said before. It's really nice. So thank you very much, everybody, for the feedback.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you.
And the support. So thank you. Yeah. So, well, it's been great to talk to you again, Ian. And,
likewise, Martin.
And so everybody at home, send in your dreams, and what we'll do is we'll go through them, and we'll do another follow-up podcast next month. And if you've got any questions about dreams, send those in as well. You can do it through our Facebook page as well, or you can do it through our website. And we'll do another recording next month on dreams. So thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, folks. And Martin, thank you too, mate.
Thank you.